Rayari Contracts, also under collection. Yeah, hunter-gatherer is the English expression. In Germany, or in German, we would say Jäger und Sammler. So the gatherers are the Sammlers, and Sammlers translated to English is collectors. Yeah. And Wicklow seems to be a collector. He collects stuff because he's a trader, and he trades that collected stuff with other parties in favor. Why he mentioned that favor quite some time. And this is just like when we come from law of commerce as we know it here on Earth, it is supposed to be the essence of trading back then when money wasn't invented. But Rayari is a human corporation that they will pay us for the work we do, for the collection we do for them, not like Wicklow. But Wicklow doesn't give us money, Wicklow gives us whatever the contract promised. And beside the money, Rayari doesn't give us anything else, just the money that they offer according to the contract. But at the end, this Rayari company are the guys who do the region crisis. It's basically the other way around. At least the official narrative is the other way around. They are the guys who do the region technology, and they have an issue, a crisis, and we, the player base, the citizen, we need to help them out in order to fix this crisis. And we should have an interest in that, because if we cannot regenerate, that will have an impact on our character. Yeah, maybe we have just one arm instead of two arms with limbs or whatever. And eventually, if we cannot fix this stuff, we will have death of the spaceman. Incorporated our citizen. And we as a player base, we should have an interest in avoiding that. You have basically the decision to make. Do you do the Wicklow stuff in order to have fancy stuff? Yeah, fun guns, nice ship, big ships, bigger ship. Or do you want to make sure that region? And what is the thrive? What is the motivation, drive that pushes us into either the Wicklow guy or the Rayari? Either it's curiosity or the greed. One of them. And the other people may be the demanding parts who say, well, we are now in development year 13, and now they are able or capable of delivering each month a certain type of gameplay limited to that month. So what's wrong with that? Yeah, but we are still demanding, and that's why we got our demands heard and delivered. So we utilize that deliverance in order to have the gameplay that we expected and demanded and funded so far. That's why we do that. We do not care about the consequences of that, because at the end, at the bottom line, it is still a video game if it comes out any day somewhere. Okay, so looking at the aspects of these contracts, these collection contracts, also with the gameplay aspect. But we are role-play gamers. We are not really gamers, but we have the tendency of practicing more role-play than actual gameplay. Okay, so to all available contractors, our research team at Clio is working tirelessly on solving the current region crisis. All these human-made crises. We haven't taken in the research, the backstory of this region crisis, but whenever there is a crisis, it is always human-made. And addressing the issue of unstable in principle. Their work has produced promising results, but a lack of the key resource is impeding their ability to run further experiments. The resource is hard to come by, but we have it on good authority that the old Heather mining facilities were built in areas with a high concentration of ore. Since Heather went defunct not long after establishing their operations in system, there is a good chance that activating one of these mining lasers could provide you with what we need. Together we can make the universe better. This is always this slogan of a cult, of a religion that needs to come with it. Yeah, Wicklow doesn't have that, but all the other ones, like the Citizen Spirit, also need this cult-like, in order to convince people working for them or with them. Then, yeah, like we said, the Rayari demands the same materials in a different combination in order to fix the regen crisis. And it is basically the very same materials, a little bit different. Yeah, they have other materials like this one, Prota, Piccolo doesn't need Prota, Amyoshi also not, Revenant Pot also not, Sansaberry also not, Heart of the Woods also not, Ratadon. All this plant-based stuff, Piccolo doesn't need. The life stuff, animal stuff, both need them, and both need these mining stuff. And we checked all these contracts yesterday, and that's why we thought, oh, this is a good idea, because we have a lot of this stuff laying around. And so we clean our inventory basically. This is what we are going to do. Yeah, but in this video we just have had a look on the contracts. Based on the titles, we can say the Rayari are not that, let's say, interesting in title. It's just like additional resources. That means like we need to, these three need to is basically the base ingredients they need to have. Not sure if we can collaborate as citizens throughout the world in order to accomplish, or if we as a single player need to do all these contracts in order to make Rayari capable of solving the crime. Not sure. But we already know, like in Wicklow Polaris thing, here for example, only 3, but in a large amounts. Yeah, this is large amount. We are not miners, we cannot do. The Tundra Copions, they are basically already extincted. And today, the day of recording, is the 1st April. And we had been there yesterday and we haven't found any. And we were listening or reading the global chat, and other players were kind of complaining, not finding, okay, still issue, but being there where they usually are, not having found any for 4 hours. They were looking for them for 4 hours. We do not know how they're looking at, but for 4 hours. And we spent probably also 1 hour, 1.5 hour, looking for copions. We haven't found any of these Tundra. It might be that they're already extincted, and that's why we were actually thinking about, because our mind goes in that behavior of certain players, if not all players in the game, represents aspects of what they truly are. And we do not talk specifically about griefers when we say that. No, we say in general. Something that makes us us, that will translate into Star Citizen, into the verse, because the game as roleplay opportunities is set up like this. And whatever behavior you have inside the game, that is part of you. You may deny it, but it is part of you. And so that's why when we go there, either for the curiosity When we do the Wicklow things, it would be for the curiosity, because we want to have the proof if that Wicklow guy actually exists or if it's just a hologram or animatronic. We want to have the proof. And that's why we would do the Wicklow stuff. And as a player, we do not want to have death of a spaceman, whatever that is. So we want to avoid that the crisis will overhand. But just the definition, the crisis is human-made, so it's already lost. Yeah, these are the contracts, and we are going in. Okay, we continue. This is the third video in a row. We haven't really stopped, although we break afterwards. First thing is we will, or we have a list. Well, we have a list of all the materials we deliver. And first thing that we see is the Rayari contract, this additional resources. Some of them we have in our inventory. This is a great opportunity to get rid of the stuff and get paid for that. For the material, yeah, we're also some sort of a trader, even though we are salvagers. But salvaging gameplay is basically not worth the effort. So we spend quite some time in trading, hauling, and so for us it is just the right moment to have this opportunity to get rid of the material and also get paid for it. And what we have is Heart of Woods, Sunset Berries, Revenant Parts, Yoshi Plant. These are the stuff, Prota. These are the stuff we have laying around. Probably also have Marok gems. Tundra Copians, we have 10 pieces left over. Because Dan the Huntsman was hunting at the weekend. And then we got some pips and fight. But we do not care about that much. We do the Rayari contracts first. And in order to do that, go here. Need. This one we cannot take because this is mining. Our friend Jack is shard-locked since Friday, and he has, beside the new Drake Golem and the other Atlas stuff, beside these two vehicles or ships, he has all the mining and all the lasers and everything. He would be, at least equipment wise, he would be able to mining, but we cannot do because he's shard-locked. All right, so we do not take this. Ore is like the big rocks. We cannot mine with the rock, but the Caronite we should be able. We do not know where to find them. The research team, blah 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 blah, find with lower mining yields that we won't receive or scheduled ship. The resource is hard to come by. Authority has a facility. Yeah, they point out these mining facilities. So that means we need to go there into the caves that the mining lasers take. Probably don't do that. And here again, Jacklium, also ore. We cannot do that. We all know. The resource is hard to come by. Also, either it might be that we will have a look. They should be somewhere around Bewohner. Yes, we will see. Here, combination of those. The Caronite could be the only one that we could be able with doing handheld and the rock. But the additional contract, beside the Tundra, we cannot do because we do not have 20. We only 10. But we have Marok gems, Tundra, Prota, basically all this and stuff. We haven't checked inventory. Might be that they, just to make sure nobody has stock. patch cycle before that, we had that stuff because we did checking on some of these goods because we wanted to look at for the sunset berries. Sunset berries are high value material, and if you get a 1 SE, rich, but is paid. We wanted to make sure that the sunset berries are still in our inventory, and they had been, but we still are not. Some of those contracts took Rayari needs 40 copians only, and assuming that all the players, or percent of all the player base, do these contracts either for Rayari or the Vicola guy, or even both, they're gonna kill 40 copians. Just in order. Curiosity agreed. Doesn't really matter because outcome is animal. We go in the inventory to others and we can have 3 pages. That is a good sign. That means we have quite some materials in there. Just to have a better look for you, go to the Freight Manager in order to have proper view. We will stack them into boxes, SEU boxes. We will be right back.